Well, good afternoon everybody. Welcome back to the channel to another scenery review. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again. Today we're in the Caribbean. We're actually off the coast of Nicaragua. This is an island, Great Corn Island International Airport in the Southern Caribbean Autonomous Region. Mike November Charlie India. This is a payware scenery by Teikof Studios. This is version 1 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. Again, no information about whether it's going to be released for Xbox. Download is 184 meg and it installs at 267 meg, so not a huge scenery, but quite extensive, very nicely done here. It's available from SimMarket. Currently it's costing €8.39, which equates to roughly $8.30 US. or £7.22 UK. US and UK prices are estimates and they do include VAT or tax, which of course may vary depending on your country of purchase. First of all, I was sent this scenery very kindly by Teikof Studios for review. I thought we'd come back and have a look at another island scenery, a little bit way off the beaten track. Runway was extended some years ago so that medium-sized aircraft can land here, so we can get an A320 in here, and a 737-700 should be able to get in here. However, there are no instrument approach charts for this airport, but we'll come to that shortly. It's a lovely little scenery. I've had a little look round, and what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you about history, some bits and pieces, look at the runways, and then show you the airport here as it is up close, and then we'll take a helicopter tour around the island, which won't take long, so that you can have a look at this beautiful little place. So as ever, let's start with some history. So I haven't been able to find out an awful lot about this island, just done some research on the net and we found some bits and pieces. So Great Corn Island International Airport, Mike November Charlie India, is a civilian-military airport owned by the Republic of Nicaragua, and it's operated by Empresa Administradora de Aeroportos Internacionales, or Echo Alpha Alpha India. Hope I got the pronunciation right there. The airport serves Great Corn Island on the South Caribbean Coast Autonomous Region off the coast of Nicaragua. And the airport lies in the UTC-6 time zone and has no fuel facilities on the airport. And the island only operates between the hours of 6:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening local time, or sunset, whichever is the sooner. The airport is located to the west side of Corn Island, which lies some 43 miles or 70 kilometers from the Nicaraguan coast. A new terminal has been built and the runway was refurbished so that medium-sized jet aircraft can land at the airport. Buses and taxis are both available for transport around the island, and the airport is security equipped with X-ray machines, and there are 2 immigration offices. Great Corn Island, together with Little Corn Island, is an island of great natural beauty and has an almost virgin tourism potential, with potentially huge development possibilities, which thankfully don't seem to have happened. Its main economy is based on the fishing of shellfish and the encouragement of tourism. Transport around the island is by taxi, but there is a shuttle bus that goes all around the island as well. The island has 5 major hotels, and you can also rent cabins. Restaurants include Mary's Restaurant, Fisher's Cave, the Seaside Grill, among many others, and the island has some pretty beautiful beaches. So, scenery features, there's terraforming, PBR textures, top of the line modelling with some amazing details, and actually I can confirm that. High detailed runway and platform markings, great performance, or certainly frames per performance, and the modelling of the surrounding island structures to give life to the scenery. And you will see some of that as we take off in the helicopter and have a little look around the island. So let's have a look at the runways. No jetways here, obviously it's all open. Let's have a close look at the runways. Okay, firstly I've lowered the lighting down so we can see whether the runway is lit, and indeed it is. As you can see, the sun is just above the horizon. Bear in mind this airport ceases to operate after 5:30 PM or after sunset, depending on the time of year. So Great Corn Island International Airport operates a single runway 2103, measuring 6,234 feet or 1,900 meters in length, and is made from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 26 feet or 8 meters. Now, there are no instrument approach charts for this airport. It's purely Mark 1 eyeball visual approach. So I would suggest, certainly if it's a jet or anything like that, at this time of the evening, it's going to be a bit tight because there's no landing aids, no VASIs, no PAPIs, no ILS, and no other RNP type chart approach. There is a VOR station on the island, Corn Island, identified as CIS, frequencies 114.4. There's also an NDB station, again Corn Island, CIS, frequency 357. And as I said, there are no instrument approach charts for this airport. So this is runway 21. Let's just turn the lighting up a little bit so you can look at the runway itself during the daytime. So just after 4 PM local time, and again looking down the throat of runway 21, as you can see, it's fine. It's got end identifier lights, the runway markings are accurate, and the runway itself has lighting around it. And this is quite a nice looking little approach. So let's go and have a look at the other end, runway 03. So first of all, a little look at the runway from further back by the beach here to show you the pier. Again, a nice little view. The pier is useful because it will give you a landing aid to help you line up with the runway. Let's look a little closer. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 03. As you can see, much the same as the other end identifier lights, landing touchdown zone markings, as well as the lights around the runway, and of course you've got the fence line there. So yeah, it all looks pretty good. There seems to be some confusion because I looked at a lot of the information that's available. The runway was around 4,500 feet, and it was extended to 6,200. I'm pretty certain that what we're looking at is the longer version of the runway. But what I might do is take an A320 out here at some point and have a go at it during the day. So there you go, that about does it for runways. Let's get down to the actual parking area itself and have a look at some of the details and on the buildings itself. So first of all, there we go, a quick look over the parking area. As you can see, there are 3 aircraft stands there. There's plenty of room for a 320 or 737-700 to park, assuming you can make a landing here. There you see my helicopter. So this is the new VAP Air helicopter with floats. There's also a skid version. This is a brand new introduction to my fleet, and this is what we'll be looking around the island in a moment or two. So as you can see, ambient wise, the airport is really quite pleasant. You've got the fence line going around the airport. The roads locally have been done as well, and the ramp area looks excellent. Fits into the grass and the area of the airport itself really nicely. There's the road going up there, you've got a few cars, there's a few other buildings. Personally, I find this really quite pleasant. It's a very nice ambient atmosphere type of little airport. Any of you who have seen my Pearl Island series of videos I did way back when we visited the Pearl Islands off the coast of Panama will know what I'm talking about when we talk about island sceneries. I'll put a link up to that video so you can see it. I did it a while ago. But this is yet another little island airport that's really pleasant and very, very ambient to be on. So let's have a close look at these buildings. So here's the new terminal that they were talking about that's been built, and it's very, very nicely done. There are 1 or 2 photographs on the internet to show this, and from what I can see it's fairly accurate. As you can see, there is some internal development which is really nice. We'll have a look in a minute. And once again, you've got outbuildings, various bits and pieces, clutter and stuff going around. I love the palm trees and the foliage. Really, really nice. As you can see from this shot, it's really beautifully done. The fence line looks good. The building is really nicely coloured. It's quite accurate. You've got the advertising hoarding there and various other little buildings around as well. And the island itself has lots of bits and pieces dotted around for you to see. Typical of the various outbuildings on the airport perimeter. Again, nicely done, nicely modelled, No real problems at all with this. Looks really good. No internal modelling on these other buildings. The only internal modelling is inside the terminal. Let's have a look at that now. So just before we go in here, you can see in through the doors, which are open. The whole scenery thing really does look nice. Let's pop inside. So here's the building interior. Again, nothing really to write home about. It's been modelled and it looks quite nice, and that's fine. There's a lack of people, but who knows? The developer may decide to upgrade this and improve it still further. Some people inside here and passengers would be nice. But you've got to remember, this is really quite a cheap scenery. It's not really expensive, and I think you get quite a lot for your money, certainly with the airport, and the developer's done other bits and pieces around the island. Nicely detailed drinks machine there. Here you can see the check-in desk. La Costena is the main airline that operates ATR flights into this island. And just a little look outside the windows, you can see motorbikes outside, which is really quite nice. And another view looking out towards the airside ramp there from inside. Let's just have a quick look landside outside. So here's our motorcycle cluster, which is really quite nice. The quality of the cars aren't brilliant. As you can see, they're sort of missing wheels, as is that one there. Again, maybe these could be improved, but you know, basically it's okay. And here, looking inside the building close to the motorcycles, you can see it's another waiting room. And there it is from outside, and this is where you would pick up a taxi. And as you can see, some nicely modelled outbuildings here. There's one with this kind of a rusty roof, but I really like this. Again, the building has been beautifully detailed with the doors done, and there's a hammock and some pot plants. Very nice. Just a nice touch, and again really goes with the ambience of this place. And looking from the other side, as you can see, many of the buildings on islands like this are put on stilts. I think, as far as I understand it, it's to do with weather and heavy rain that they sometimes get. It's a tropical island paradise, and many of these structures, certainly the older structures on the island, were built or raised off the ground for weather reasons. And there in the distance you can see the road has been modelled all the way up, and there are various buildings to look out off the airport for you up there. I won't spoil that now. I'll let you have a look at that. Let's go back to the airside ramp and have a closer look at the modelling. So here you can see we've got bags ready to go on board an aircraft, and we've got some bins over there as well. And there you've got a Cessna Grand 208 or 208 Grand Caravan ready to be loaded up and ready for use. So what I want to do before we take the helicopter around is have a look at this place in the low light and just see what sort of lighting we've got, if any. Bear in mind that operations cease after 5:30 or after sunset, so I want to just bring the light down low and see what lighting, if any, there is. So here we are, just before 5:15, so it's about 16 minutes before the airport closes. And here you can see some nice little subtle lighting. I'm so pleased because it's such a beautiful little place. And again, many airports like this come to life in the darkness hours. And I had sort of worried that there might not be any lighting, but actually there is. So firstly, the terminal there, you can see it's lit inside and out, and you've got lighting bulbs at the top there, which looks really nice. And in the other direction you've also got lighting too. There are Asobo globes floating around that I can see, but there's also accurate street lighting that's there. So a nicely lit building from landside there. So the only real improvements I can see so far would be to get better modelled cars. And here you've got street lamps, which looks really good. Unfortunately you've got that Asobo globe sitting there, which kind of spoils the whole thing. Nice to see those removed where necessary. So there's a shot from a slightly higher level looking across the airport. As you can see, you've got runway lighting, centerline lighting, and the airport itself is quite nicely lit. And there we are looking in the other direction. That's the threshold of 03. Again, plenty of lighting in the buildings locally around and on the roads. Lots of Asobo globes, unfortunately, but there you go. It's the end of the day, the lighting looks really quite nice, and the roads are lit as well. So just want to give you this higher level shot to show you that there are boats and ships in the local harbour and around. There's at least 1, 2, 3, there's 4 there. There's a little cruiser here and another one here and one there, and there's various bits and pieces dotted around the island. And here you've got the little harbour approach thing that you see on the way in. And one more high level shot there showing you the airport in the near darkness. We're very close to closing time now, but yes, I'm really pleased to say that it looks really nice. Very pleased with that. Okay, I'm going to drop it down to night time just very quickly to see if there's much change in the lighting. Okay, 8 PM, and as you can see, actually lighting's not too bad. Not bad at all. The airport closed 2.5 hours ago, so no traffic can operate into the airport after 5:30 PM. But as you can see, we've still got night lighting. Looks quite nice. And there in the other direction you can see the runway and everything sort of clearly delineated. You can also see the approach pier we mentioned here, and nice to see some of the boats are lit up as well. So let's go back to daytime. Let's get in the helicopter and let's do a quick tour. Okay, so here we are in the Bell the Bell 47 G2. It's the fly-inside version, and this is the VAP Air Float version. So let's get started up and let's get going. Okay, so let's lift off and we'll start a tour where we will go south and then east around the island coastline and have a look. Just a little hover taxi out to the runway. I have to say, I do like this little airport. Now that we've got this decent simulator that's able to recreate ground data really accurately, foliage and stuff like that, islands like this really start to come to life now. See to the right there, we've got some nice beaches. Here we're coming over the boat harbour, which exists right at the top end of runway 03 threshold. Come down a little bit lower. There you've got a nice boat harbour with a couple of boats. They're nicely detailed as well, I have to say. Here's the cruiser, beaches there with beach huts to the left. Very nice. As you can see, there's a ship out there in the distance. We've got another little cruiser here. All looking very tropical and very nice. And another, what looks like a container ship out there in the distance. nice rugged coastline down there below us. Really does look nice. And I will accept the challenge of taking an A320 in here at some point and see if we can just get her in. I'm pretty sure the runway is the longer of the two types that have been talked about. Here below us, it's really nicely modelled. This is typical beaches here. There's some lovely beaches on this island. It's really quite an interesting tourist hotspot. There's quite a bit of information about it tourist-wise. And everything looks really nicely done. See a beach house there. It's one of the cabins that you can sort of rent. Some lovely little structures, all sorts of little things here to be discovered. Houses and structures that have been modelled and added all over the island. Forests look lovely, absolutely beautiful. There you've got some more structures down there. And some more here by the coast. This is a nice little scenery that's been nicely done. Oh, some lovely beaches. I love the way the trees and everything look, and there are little bits and pieces nestled away amongst the trees and amongst the forest, all there for you to discover. You'll also notice there in the distance, that's Little Corn Island in the very far distance. Here we've got some more little beach houses. Really, really nice. It's a very nice little scenery. And to be honest, it's ripe for exploration, and would be probably quite an interesting place to fly into, considering there are no instrument post charts until Mark 1 eyeball, and yet the airport has been developed, runway, so it's been developed for jets. It'd be interesting to see if we can actually make a landing here. Again, we've got road structures and more buildings, little bits and pieces out of the way there to discover. That could well be a hotel down there. So the bring the speed off a bit now because we're coming round to the shortly coming around to the approach for runway 21. But again, you can see just beautiful beaches, beautiful water, lovely coastline. Just bring the speed off a little bit now. Okay, so here's the approach to runway 21. again, buildings and structures and bits and pieces there off to the left for you to examine. And again, beach huts. It's very nice. Watch out with the trees. We're gently coming down. See during the day now, I can see the edge lights and you can see the fence line that goes all around the airport and prevents access, unauthorized access to the runway. And there we are. Welcome back. Well, there you go, folks. Welcome back. Very, very nice. Time to give you my thoughts and wrap up this review. So, do I like it? Yeah, of course I do. It's a lovely little island scenery. It's not very expensive. €8.39 is really cheap. Nice to see that the island actually does exist, and the author has actually done a nice job of developing the airport structure here, of the buildings, and adding bits and pieces really to improve the ambience of what you get on the island. Certainly worth exploring, and I hope you enjoyed that quick helicopter tour. I think it's a nice little scenery. It's also ripe for development. Nice to see maybe the internal structures on the airport here developed a bit more, maybe improve the lighting, get rid of some of the asobo globes and have a look at lighting some of the robes. Be interesting to see various places off airport, like the two piers, lit up properly. Improve the car models, which really need to be improved, but not an awful lot. If he developed the internal bits of all the buildings here on the airport, it would be a really nice scenery. Add some people, some passengers, and you've got a nice little scenery. But for the moment, he's done a good job, and bear in mind he's added bits and pieces around the island for you to discover. And there's also Little Corn Island, which I haven't even looked at yet, so that's ripe for examination. So really nice. Be also nice if he developed something on that as well in addition to make this scenery. So there you go, folks. It's Great Corn Island International Airport on the South Caribbean off the coast of Nicaragua. It's Mike November Charlie India. It's a payware scenery by Teikof Studios. That's Teikof Studio. This is version 1 for the PC version of Flight Simulator 2020. No indication as to whether it's going to be available for Xbox. It's currently available from Sim Market, downloads at 184 meg and installs at 267 meg. And the price, €8.39, which equates to roughly $8.30 US, or £7.22 UK. Those prices, US and UK prices, are estimates, and they do include tax and VAT. So, a really nice little airport. Hope you enjoyed this little review. Nothing serious to write home about. It's a small scenery at a small price, but it's actually quite a lot for what you get, I think. And be nice to see maybe if the developer decides to make some improvements to this and really go to town on it, because it's quite an interesting place. So my name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot. Thank you very much for joining me on this review. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope maybe it's something you might look at in the future. My thanks to Teikof Studio for sending me this copy for review. I didn't buy it, they sent me a free copy. But as ever, the thoughts and comments are my own and have not been influenced in any way by the developer. So thanks for joining me, folks. Look out for the next review this week, which will be Marseille. But this time it will be Marseille Airport, done by Beautiful Model of the World. Those of you may remember I did a review of the FranceVFR version. I'll put the links in the description below in case you missed them. But look out for the review of Marseille by this other company, Beautiful Model of the World. So thanks again. You guys take care. Have a great weekend or a great week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.